The first time she called me Mom, I cried in the laundry room so no one would see me. The first time she said I was nothing to her, I cried again. But this time, there was no hiding it. My name is Lisa. I'm 42 years old now. But this story, it started many years ago, when I was still young, still full of hope, still believing that love was always enough to build a family. Back then, I thought if you gave love, you would receive love. If you were kind, people would see it. If you were patient, if you stayed strong, if you gave all your heart, they would say thank you. I truly believed that. And maybe, in a different life, it would have been true. But real life is not always like the stories we tell ourselves. Sometimes, you give everything. And in the end, you are left with nothing. I met Derek when I was 29. He was 35. He had quiet eyes, like someone who had seen sadness but didn't want to show it. He didn't smile much at first. But when he did, it felt honest. Soft. Real. He was a father. A single dad. His daughter, Chloe, was 4 years old. I had never imagined myself as a stepmother. I didn't grow up thinking, one day, I will raise someone else's child. No. I wanted a simple life. Love. A small home. Maybe children of my own someday. But life doesn't ask what you planned. It just brings people into your world. Sometimes, they stay. Sometimes, they break your heart. Derek told me something on our second date. Something heavy. He said, Chloe's mom left when she was 2. She said she was going to the store. She never came back. No note. No goodbye. No reasons. Just gone. I didn't know what to say. I just held his hand. And I thought about little Chloe. A baby, waiting by the window. Waiting for someone who would never come back. When I met her for the first time, Chloe hid behind Derek's leg. She looked at me with big, round eyes. Scared. Quiet. Not sure if I was safe. She didn't call me anything at first. I was just Miss Lisa. I brought her snacks. I played dolls with her. We painted our nails together. I made silly animal voices to make her laugh. And slowly, she started to smile at me. Then she sat beside me. Then, one day, she held my hand. I never tried to be her mother. I just tried to be someone who would never leave. One evening, she was lying on the couch watching cartoons. She slowly put her head on my lap. Within minutes, she fell asleep. I didn't move. I didn't want to wake her. I just sat there, one hand on her back, feeling her small breaths. And I remember thinking, maybe this is what love looks like. Derek quietly took a photo. I didn't know it then, but that was the first photo of us, me, her, and him, as something that looked like a family. And in that soft, quiet moment, I truly believed I had found something beautiful. When Chloe turned 7, Derek and I got married. It was a small, quiet wedding. Nothing big. Just a few close friends, Derek's parents, and a simple garden with white chairs and soft music. The sky was blue that day, with light clouds floating like cotton. The wind was gentle. I remember the sound of birds and the way the sun touched Chloe's hair. She wore a white dress with little lace flowers on the sleeves. She looked like a tiny bride herself. In her small hands, she carried a basket filled with flower petals. They were fake, but she believed they were real. "It's magic," she whispered to me. "These petals never die." And I smiled. Because in that moment, she still believed in magic. And maybe I did too. After the ceremony, during the reception, something happened I will never forget. She climbed onto a wooden chair, her dress wrinkled, one shoe almost falling off. She picked up a spoon and tapped it against her glass, just like she had seen the adults do. The sound rang out like little bells. Then, with a proud smile and her cheeks red from the sun, she said loudly, "Now I have a mommy again." The room was quiet for a moment. Then everyone clapped. Derek laughed. His mother wiped her eyes. "And me?" I cried. But not because I was sad. I cried because I truly believed her. I believed that she meant it. That she had accepted me. That maybe, just maybe, I was enough. Raising someone else's child is a special kind of love. It's quiet. It's patient. It's not always seen. You do everything, not because you have to, but because you want to. When Chloe had a fever, I sat next to her bed all night. I put a cold cloth on her forehead. I whispered songs and counted her breaths. I didn't sleep. I just watched her chest rise and fall again and again. When she had nightmares, I held her close. She would shake and cry. I would say softly, "It's okay, I'm here. Nothing can hurt you." When she broke her wrist falling from the monkey bars, I was the one in the emergency room. I filled out the forms. I held her while she cried. Derek was stuck in traffic that day. He called. He said, "Thank you." But Chloe looked at me with wet eyes and whispered, "Don't leave me." And I didn't. Not then. Not ever. When she got her first period, she was scared. She cried and said she felt weird and gross. I ran to the store, bought what she needed, made hot chocolate, and told her, "You're growing up. It's okay to feel strange. But you are not alone." Through all those years, I never called her my stepdaughter. Not even once. In my heart, she was my daughter. And in every way that mattered, she truly was. But things started to change when Chloe turned 14. At first, I told myself it was just normal teenage behavior. Teenagers roll their eyes. Teenagers don't always talk. Teenagers need space. That's what all the books said. That's what my friends said. But something in Chloe felt different. Her coldness wasn't just teenage mood. It was something sharper. Something deeper. Something that quietly pushed me away, day by day. She used to call me Mom. But now, she called me Lisa. The first time she said it, my heart felt like it dropped. Just Lisa. So flat. So empty. I smiled gently and said, "Sweetheart, you can still call me Mom if you want." She looked at me. Her face didn't change. She just shrugged. "I don't know. It just feels weird now." And then she walked away. At dinner one evening, I was making spaghetti, her favorite when she was little. She used to call it slippery noodles. We sat at the table. Chloe twirled her fork, not really eating. Then she asked Derek, "Do you think my real mom would have let me get a tattoo?" I looked up, surprised. I said gently, "Chloe, you're 14. No one is letting you get a tattoo." She didn't even look at me. She just said, "Well, you're not my mom. So what you say doesn't really matter." She said it like she was reading from a book. No emotion. No anger. Just facts. But to me, it felt like a knife. A soft, slow knife. Derek didn't say a word. He just stared at his plate, moving his food around with his fork. I stood up quietly and said, "Excuse me." I walked to the bathroom, closed the door, and let the tears come. Again. How many times had I cried behind that door? How many times did I wipe my face, look in the mirror, and whisper, "You're okay. Just keep going"? The next few years were hard. So hard. Chloe stopped telling me things. She stopped asking for help. She didn't show me her drawings anymore. She didn't ask me to braid her hair before school. She stopped inviting me to her life. Sometimes I would see pictures online, photos of her at school events, at concerts, holding certificates, standing next to Derek. And I hadn't even known the event happened. I asked her once, softly, "Why didn't you tell me you had an award ceremony?" She looked up from her phone and said, "I didn't think you'd care. It's not like you're really my mom." Every time she said something like that, a piece of me broke. I didn't even know that part of me could break. But it did. A quiet heartbreak. Not loud. Not screaming. Just slow. Heavy. Like standing in the rain with no umbrella. Getting colder. Wetter. More invisible every day. But the moment I'll never forget, the moment that still wakes me up at night, came just before her high school graduation. And that broke something in me that still hasn't fully healed. Chloe was 17. Her high school graduation was coming soon. It was a big moment for her, and for us. Derek and I helped her make a photo board for the party. It was a fun project, at least in the beginning. We sat at the kitchen table for hours, cutting, gluing, printing pictures, and choosing colorful paper. I brought out old photo albums. Pictures from when she was a baby. From her school plays. From her birthday parties. From prom night. I smiled at each one. I remembered the little stories behind them. The silly faces. The missing teeth. The tiny hands holding mine. I thought this photo board would show all the love she had in her life. I thought it would show the family we built, together. But when it was finished, I looked closely. Not one photo of me. Not even one. I felt a small tightness in my chest. I tried to speak calmly. Softly. "Hey, sweetie," I said, "did you want to include any pictures of us? You and me?" Chloe looked at me with empty eyes. No anger. No smile. Just a blank face. She said, "I just wanted to be about my real family." I stood still. My hands stopped moving. My heart felt like it forgot how to beat. Derek looked up, confused. "Chloe," he said gently, "Lisa's part of your real family. She raised you." Chloe didn't even blink. "She's just someone you married," she said. "She's not anything to me." I couldn't speak. I couldn't cry. But inside, something broke. That one sentence, "she's not anything to me," cut deeper than any scream ever could. That was the moment I stopped pretending. That was the moment I knew. Even if you give someone your whole heart, they can still leave it behind like it was never theirs to begin with. After that day, the photo board day, something in our home changed. Derek didn't talk much about what Chloe said. Not really. He tried to defend me once or twice. Quiet words. Careful words. He would say things like, "She didn't mean it." Or, "She's just confused. Sometimes, she'll grow out of it." But mostly, he said nothing. He didn't want to fight. He hated conflict. So he stayed quiet and hoped things would fix themselves. But they didn't. Chloe didn't apologize. She didn't sit down with me. She didn't ask if I was okay. She packed her bags that summer. She smiled at Derek, hugged him, and walked past me like I was furniture. She left for college, and the house became very quiet. Too quiet. At first, I thought I would feel peace. No more cold looks. No more silence at the dinner table. No more walking on eggshells. But I didn't feel peace. I felt grief. Deep, heavy grief. Grief without a name. Grief without a funeral. No one talks about what it feels like to lose a child who was never yours on paper. There are no sympathy cards for stepmothers whose children choose to forget them. No flowers. No phone calls. Just silence. One afternoon, almost a year later, I was sitting on the couch with a cup of tea. The sun was coming through the curtains. The house smelled like lemons from the candle I lit that morning. I checked my phone like I always do. One new message. Facebook. The name said, Tessa Michaels. The subject line made my heart skip a beat. "Are you Chloe's stepmom?" My hands began to shake. I opened the message slowly, like it might bite. Tessa told me she had met Chloe at college. They were roommates. They had become close. But recently, Chloe had started talking a lot about her real mom. She showed pictures. Smiling. Hugging. Happy. She also told stories about me. About her mean stepmom. How hard her childhood had been. How unloved she felt at home. Tessa wrote, "I'm sorry if this is intrusive. But she says things that sound twisted. I didn't want to believe them. I just thought you should know." I didn't reply that day. I closed my laptop. I stared at the floor. I felt something deep in my chest, like my heart was folding in on itself. For 2 days, I stayed quiet. I didn't tell Derek. I couldn't speak. Then finally, I opened the message again. I typed one simple line. "Thank you." I loved her like she was my own. And I hit send. Then I closed my eyes. And I cried, soft and slow, like the rain outside the window. When Chloe came home that summer, I told myself not to expect anything. No hugs. No big changes. No "I'm sorry." I had learned by then, expecting too much only hurts more. So I kept my distance. I cleaned the guest room. I put fresh sheets on the bed. I left her favorite shampoo in the bathroom, even though I didn't know if it was still her favorite. Maybe she had changed. Maybe she hadn't. I told Derek I didn't want to plan anything. No family dinner. No welcome party. I said, "Please. I just want it to be quiet this time." He nodded. Then he said something I wasn't ready for. "She wants to talk to you." I looked at him. My hands froze on the kitchen towel I was folding. "Why now?" I asked. He shrugged. "Maybe she's grown up." But deep inside, I didn't believe it. We sat at the kitchen table the next day. The same table where I used to help her with homework. Where we had birthday cakes. Where she once spilled juice and cried because she thought I'd be mad, and I wasn't. The sunlight came through the window, soft and golden. My heart beat slow and heavy. Chloe looked at me. She was taller now. Older. But her face was the same. Then she said it. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry if you felt hurt. But, you weren't really part of my real story. You were just there. Just there." Those words. So small. So simple. But they hit like thunder in a quiet room. That's what I was to her. After all those years? Just there? I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't ask her to take it back. I just looked at her and said, gently, "I gave you everything I had. I loved you when your own mother walked away. And you don't have to love me back. But please, don't erase me like I was nothing." She didn't answer. She stood up. Picked up her bag. And that night, she left. She didn't come back the rest of the summer. That was 3 years ago. She's 22 now. We haven't spoken since. Derek and we're still together. We share meals. Watch TV. Smile sometimes. But something between us cracked during those years, something I don't think will ever fully heal. When you raise a child, even if you're not their parent by blood or by paper, you give them everything. You remember the little things. Their favorite cereal. The way they liked their sandwiches cut, triangles, not squares. The song they danced to at 5 years old. The way they said I love you with peanut butter on their face. You carry those moments like treasures in your heart. And when that child grows up and says, you were nothing, it feels like the floor opens under you. And your whole heart falls through. But here's what I've come to understand, deep in my heart. Loving someone doesn't come with a promise. It doesn't mean they will love you back. It doesn't mean they will stay. But love is still a choice. And it's a choice I would make again. Even now. Even with all the silence. Even with the pain still sitting quietly inside me, I don't regret loving Chloe. I don't regret the stories we read. The lunches I packed. The nights I sat beside her when she was sick. Because I know who I was. I was kind. I was patient. I gave her everything I had. Maybe one day she will remember. Maybe she won't. But I remember. And I always will. Thank you, truly, for listening to my story. Have you ever felt a quiet kind of heartbreak? Have you ever loved someone, and they didn't see it? If my story touched something inside you, please don't keep it all in. Share your heart in the comments. Tell me your story. I'm listening. We all are. Please subscribe channel for more emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon. Yeah. Before you go, please tell me in the comments, where are you listening from? I'd really love to know.